Hello there, and welcome to another website tutorial showing you how to make changes to your WordPress site with the Divi Builder. Today we're going to update a page and a blog post. So we're going to start with going to the Pages section. So once you're logged into your WordPress admin, go to Pages on the left, click on the heading there, and this will take you to the list of all the pages you have. Now what we're going to do is we're going to edit this page right here. We're going to rename it, as a matter of fact, and then we're going to put in some content. So I'm going to click on Edit, and that'll take us back here. Now, we actually created this page before without using the Divi Builder. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just use the Divi Builder, and that's going to take us to this page. Now, the first thing it does is it's going to give us a couple of options to use existing content. So if we had already put stuff in there, we would use that. We don't care. Choose a pre-made layout where we can pull from a library of pre-made stuff. We don't actually want that. We want to clone an existing page because this is where we're going to be able to duplicate the functionality of the rest of the site. So I click that, and that's going to now open up a list of all the existing pages. We could pick any number of these pages. I'm just going to pick one of the ones we created recently for communities, just because there's not a whole lot of information on there to mess with. So I'm just going to click on this featured properties page, and all we're doing is we're importing settings from another page so that it looks similar to the ones we already have. Now, we've covered this before. You can build on the front end. You can stay here. I'm actually going to stay here in the back end, but I'm going to click the little computer icon to show us what's called the desktop view. And that's going to give us a better picture of how this looks on an actual screen. So you'll notice here we have featured properties and an image. So these can all be changed at a later date. For now, we're just going to change the text, and then we can worry about pictures later. So in Divi, you have a section, which is your biggest box you can put things in. Within the section, you have a row, which is green. So the sections are blue, typically. The rows are green, and then inside the rows, you have gray modules. So I'm going to click on the module settings icon here. This is a little gear. And then I'm going to change this headline. Now, the article that we are going to use is called 5 Items to Consider When Looking to Buy Your New Home. So I have a PDF document here that I'm going to open up, and this is the content that we're going to put into the page. Now notice this is a page. It is going to be up all the time. It's linkable directly in the main navigation. We'll show you how to do a blog post. Probably actually in a separate video now that I think about it. So for now though, here's our headline, 5 items to consider when looking to buy your new home. So I'm going to go back to the website here, and we're going to do it like so. 5 items to consider when looking to buy your new home. Now also, I'm going to change the page title itself. I'm going to copy this. I'm using shortcut keys here. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to select the green checkbox to save my changes. So here's our headline that we created, but I'm going to scroll back up to the top of the page, and notice the headline here is different than the title of the page. The title of the page is what will show up in some of our other places on the site, so I want it to be consistent. Speaking of consistency, all of our headlines on the pages are capitals, but other places on the site, it's not all caps. So we want to be consistent. That's really important. So I'm just going to retype this. 5 items to consider when looking to buy your new home. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this right now because I don't want to lose anything. It's never fun. Now, one thing to also note, when you change the title of a page, you also want to update the link if you haven't used it before. If you have used it before, you want to keep the link the same. Hopefully you're not doing this too much, but I'm going to edit this as well. 5 items to consider when looking to buy your new home. Now, you can make that link anything you want. I personally like to have it match the title of the page. But that's also a personal preference. All right, that's the first thing we did is we changed the title and the headline as well. I'm going to go back to my desktop view so I can see If we wanted to change the background picture, we can do that here. In fact, we'll do that just to show you how. We're clicking the blue gear icon, clicking the background section here, and you'll notice you could actually put just a color. You could put a gradient going from one color to another, but what we want to do is select the background. So we're going to click in the middle here or click this gear icon. Either one works, but we're going to click it, and then we're going to go and just choose a different thing. I'm going to pick these books. I don't know why, just for fun. We can change them at a later date. These are some other images that were included with the theme. We'll probably delete those. But anyway, click upload an image, and that changes. Click the green checkbox to save those changes, and here you go. Our image is updated. Now I'm going to scroll down here, and let's put in some info. Now we don't want this, so what I'm going to actually do now, you'll notice I have a module, I have a row, I have a section. I'm going to save this section, and I'm just going to delete a couple of modules here. So this gray module that says find your home today, I'm going to delete that. This other gray module, which is actually a code module, I showed you in another video if you've seen that. Code module, this is all it is. It actually pulls all that information dynamically from the Showcase IDX plugin. I'm just going to delete this code module as well. And what that's going to leave us then is a row, the row is blue, a section, which is blue, and a row inside that section, which is green. And now we have a plus that gives us an option to put information in. So we're going to go ahead and click the plus to add a module, and Divi has lots of modules available, but what we want is the text module. So with all alphabetical, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to select text. Clicking the text module now gives me this box, which kind of looks like a Microsoft Word or other word processor box. And this gives us options for paragraph, bold, italics, the different left or center or right justification. You can change text color. All those good things that you often see in word processors are available here. So I'm going to go back to the PDF that we are using. We already have our headline on the page, so all we want to do is copy this content. Now with PDFs, sometimes it's a little tricky. There we go, I've done that. I'm going to copy that, Command C. In your case, it might be Control C. I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to delete it. Then I'm going to paste. So we're going to paste what we just posted. Now, a couple of things to consider. When you're copying and pasting information from another source, like a PDF or a Word document, sometimes it'll pull in the formatting information and it doesn't look the way you want. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually just take a look and see how it looks on the page itself. So notice there's no italics. So we're going to select this and we're going to make it italicized. Click the italic. Notice we have these notice they're out of order. And again, that sometimes happens when you're copying out of a PDF. That actually has more to do with how the PDF is built. So what I'm going to do is, here we go. I'm going to find this. And we're going to go, all right, these days from Forbes magazine. Once you know that your job, it might be easier. I'm just going to do these one at a time. Yeah, that's going to be a lot easier. So I'm going to select all. I'm going to delete that. And we're just going to do this quickly. One at a time. Now, one thing to consider is different programs format things different ways. So if at all possible, if you can get access to kind of the original, sometimes that helps. Notice also that it saves the line breaks. So you don't necessarily need that on a website. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to hit backspace and I'm going to hit space because these are individual lines. Let me select this here. All right, figure out how much. Okay. And sometimes this is tedious. A lot of times you'll find better success if you put something in just a regular text editor, like Notepad or even Microsoft Word sometimes. Once you do it from a PDF, sometimes it gets a little tricky. So I'm going to try all three of these. Since these are a list, I'm actually going to copy those, paste them, and that's in order. But watch what I can do here. I can select all three of these and scroll to the top. And there's a little section here to let us make a list. Here's a bulleted list. Here's a numbered list. We're going to make it a numbered list. We can always change it later, but clicking numbered list will actually convert that to, ta-da, a numbered list. Now I put my cursor at the end here, go down one line, hit delete or backspace. Oh, sorry. Go down one line, go down 2 lines. There we go. And that gets us out of the list mode and into the regular text editing mode again. All right, let's connect. Let's collect that, copy it, paste it. Remember, we don't want those line breaks. Details make the difference, so it's important to pay attention to that. The impact of retail. This looks like a separate but related thing, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to actually make this bold. So I can scroll to the top, click the B icon. One other thing to notice, by the way, if you wanted to, you could click this and you could actually make it different sizes. If you need it bigger, sometimes that can be helpful. So that's something to consider as well. All right, so we're going to input this, get a little bit more, and let's see how this does. Almost done. Look at that. Let's again take out our extra spaces, or extra line breaks. We don't need that. The study found city dwellers remain closer to home on average than blah, 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 blah. Okay, there's no period there, so we want to add a period. And then we'll just take this and be really careful. Notice it's pulling stuff up here. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's because oh, there we go. That's why it's 2 links. There's one. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to say references. Okay. Also, if you hold down the shift key on your keyboard and hit the enter or return key, you can just go down one little line instead of a full big line. So that might be something to consider. All right, here's my second link here. And I'm going to paste that. Go back, hold down shift, hit return. I don't think that's actually a link. So yeah, that's going to be tricky. That has to be researched, I think. I don't think that's a real link. Anyway, but that's basically the idea. You can select those, going to click italics, and you can always go back and change things and make them a different way if you want, but that's the basic idea. We're going to click the green checkbox and notice, oh, what's this? Dark text on a dark background. Not cool. So what we want to do is go to the section settings, and we're going to click on that. Notice it says section settings at the top, and we're going to go to background, and we're going to change it to white. That is really handy. I recommend it. Or we could also click transparent, which I often like actually because it lets us just use the default site background. Either one of those works. Then click Save Changes, and here you have these. Now there's other stuff we could do. We could add images and other things. That's beyond the scope of this particular article. But that's the basic idea for you. Once we're done, we are gonna, this is where I put the photo credit, by the way. We really want to give credit where it's due, but for now I'm just gonna delete it because it's inaccurate. It's not pointing to that photo. But that's the basic idea on how you change the content. So we're gonna click Save, and that will give us a completed page that we can then connect with the main site navigation. Now, since I renamed the page that I already had, I'm going to actually go to this I'm going to go to this web page in a different browser that I'm not currently logged into as an administrator. And we'll just log in. We'll just go to the temporary domain, and we'll see what it looks like. This is under the Buy section. So under Buy, we go to 5 items to click on that, and that takes us to the page we created. Now, as I look at it, I think, that's really wide. I don't like that. So I'm going to go back to the page, and I'm actually going to view the desktop view again. Click the wrong thing. That's the tablet view, which, by the way, you can see how things look on tablet and mobile if you want. But I'm going to look at the desktop view, and I'm going to go down here to the row, and I'm going to tell the row that I want it to not be so wide. So this is row settings. Again, I click the gear icon, click on design at the top, and this gives us some pretty standard options. Most of the Divi modules have this design tab and have very similar things: sizing, spacing, border, shadow. So we're going to go to sizing, and we don't want this to be 95% of the entire page. We're going to bring it down, say, to 80% of the page. And all that's going to do is it's going to change the size. In fact, I'm going to go even smaller at this point. I'm going to say 70%. And we can take a look at how that looks. I like that. It's pretty good. Also, I think I'm going to change the font size. Now, that's not an issue with the row. That's an issue with the module. The module inside the row is the text module. So I'm going to click on that, and we're going to go and we're going to change this font size. The best way to do that is in the Design tab at the top. I'm going to click on Design. I'm going to click on Text, and then I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Here's what font. Here's if I want it bold or something. Here's my text size. Right now it's 18 pixels. Pixels are different than points, by the way. Your word processor typically uses points. Pixels are different. So I'm just going to drag it up. We're going to say, make it 22. I think that's good. Click on that. Yeah, much better. Much better. So that is your basic idea. One last thing, I'm going to just add a little divider here between these two sections of the article. I'm going to put a space, and then I'm going to click this line for a horizontal line. And I think that's going to be a nice little adjustment there. All right. There we go. Once again, I've made changes, so I want to click Save. Click that up here. And we'll go back to our other page. Here we go. And we're going to refresh the page. And that is much nicer. I like that. There's different things you could do to it, but that's basically the idea. All right, that's a quick overview on how to edit a page and put in text content. Hope that was helpful, and stay tuned for the next video on making a blog post. Thanks. Bye-bye.